The soft afternoon sunlight gently blanketed the lush green garden behind a small white house nestled beside a row of maple trees. The last golden rays filtered through the leaves, casting shimmering patterns on the grassy carpet below. Like honey scattered across velvet, a light breeze carried the subtle scent of lavender, mingling with birdsong, creating a peace so serene it felt as if time had paused, offering the world a moment of quiet happiness. In that garden, an 8-year-old boy played endlessly with his closest friend, a large German shepherd named Max. Max's coat was a rich blend of black and brown, glossy under the sun. His eyes sparkled with intelligence, always following the boy's every move, as if he was born to protect and stay by his side. The boy, Aiden, was slender, sun-kissed, with wide brown eyes that always sparkled with joy. In his hands was an old rubber ball. Every now and then he would throw it far and shout, "Go, Max!" And in a flash, Max would dash off like the wind, grab the ball, and race back panting, tail wagging with pure delight. Aiden had no siblings, but from the day Max arrived, he never felt alone. Max was more than just a doll. He was a friend, a brother, and the keeper of Aiden's secrets. Whenever the boy was sad, Max seemed to know. Nestling his head into Aiden's lap, nudging his damp nose against the boy's small arm, as if to say, "I'm here. You're not alone." Aiden's mother, Laura, sat on a wooden bench beneath the porch roof, a book in hand. Every so often, she would glance up and smile softly at the sound of her son's laughter, especially when Max clumsily tripped over a tree root. She adored the bond they shared, a love beyond words, tied together by glances and gentle gestures, like an invisible thread linking two innocent souls. Inside the house, Aiden's father, Michael, was tinkering in the garage, hands greasy as he worked on the lawnmower. Each time he heard his son's laughter echoing through the yard, he smiled to himself, peeking out the window, reminded of why he worked so hard. Kids are lucky to laugh that freely, he thought. Max and Aiden were the bright spot in his long, tiring days. That afternoon, the garden looked like a living painting, not just because of the vibrant colors of flowers and trees, but because of the joy radiating from the boy and his dog. At one point, Aiden lay flat on the grass, hands tucked behind his head, eyes gazing at the sky, while Max curled beside him, resting his head on Aiden's chest like a silent guardian. The breeze tousled Aiden's hair as he hummed a lullaby his mother often sang. Amid the whimsical melody, Max breathed softly in sync, eyes half-closed, ears still alert to the world around them. Their friendship didn't bloom overnight. 3 years ago, when Aiden was just 5, Max had been brought home from an animal rescue center. At first, Max was timid, afraid of everything, unable to trust. But within weeks of being around Aiden, a boy who never forced, only sat quietly by and told stories each night, Max began to change. Aiden had given him the name Max, saying it was the name of a true hero. And ever since, Max had lived up to that name, walking faithfully beside the boy. Like his shadow, there was a time when Aiden fell seriously ill with a high fever. Max refused to eat or sleep. He lay by the boy's bed, whimpering softly and licking Aiden's hand, as if willing him back to life. Aiden's mother remembered how Max howled that night, a long, mournful cry just as the fever broke. From that day on, she placed a small bed beside Aiden's so Max could watch over him every night. But that peaceful afternoon carried an unusual omen. While Max and Aiden were chasing each other around the old apple tree, Max suddenly froze. His ears perked straight up, tail tucked low. Aiden stopped, following his gaze skyward. "What is it, Max?" he whispered, peering upward. High in the crystal blue sky, a dark speck circled wide, spiraling, deliberate, scanning below. Max began to growl. Lowly, Aiden shivered. He couldn't name the danger, but the tension in Max's stance made him uneasy. He glanced toward the porch where his mother still sat reading, and toward the garage where his father was still immersed in his work. Aiden knelt beside Max, gently patting his head. "It's probably just a big bird, don't worry." But Max didn't budge. His eyes locked on the shape above, now growing larger with each second. The flapping of wings became louder, stronger. Not the flutter of songbirds, but the sharp slicing sound of something predatory. A sudden gust of wind rushed through the trees, carrying with it a piercing cry, high and chilling, not the call of any bird Aiden knew. Instinctively, Aiden grasped Max's neck, whispering with trembling lips, "Stay with me, Max." And in return, Max gently licked the boy's hand, a promise silent but unbreakable. Max kept growling, his eyes fixed on the sky, now turning a soft shade of orange as the sun began to set. The sound of wings flapping returned louder, heavier as if something massive was approaching. Aiden trembled, gripping the thick fur at the back of Max's neck. A sudden gust of wind whipped through the garden, swirling dry leaves into the air. The boy stepped back, eyes locked on the growing shadows circling above, becoming clearer with each passing second. This was no ordinary bird. It was an eagle, a massive eagle, its wingspan stretching several meters with dark gray feathers, sleek as blades, slicing through the air. Its piercing eyes stared straight down as if it had chosen its prey. It circled once more, then began to descend. Max barked loudly, not the playful bark Aiden was used to, but a deep, thunderous warning. The boy froze in fear, instinctively turning to run toward the porch, but the sharp rush of wind behind him stopped him cold. Aiden turned just in time to see the eagle dive like an arrow through the sky, talons outstretched, aimed directly at him. "Max!" Aiden screamed, body paralyzed with fear. As the cry escaped his lips, Max launched like a spring. From his defensive stance, he sprang in front of the boy, his powerful frame shielding Aiden from the descending predator. A piercing screech rang out, followed by the chaos of massive wings cutting the air, and Max's ferocious growl rumbling across the garden. Max and the eagle collided midair. Dog and bird twisted together, fur and feathers clashing in a frenzied blur beneath the golden sunset. A long howl and the eagle's shriek echoed across the yard. Aiden fell backward onto the ground, heart pounding wildly. Before he could process what he saw, Max was already rolling on the grass, clawing fiercely at the eagle's wings. The eagle screeched, flapping powerfully, kicking up dirt and leaves before slamming a wing into Max's chest, knocking him back. But Max did not retreat. He leapt to his feet, barking with unwavering resolve, eyes burning with fierce protectiveness. "What's going on, Aiden?" His mother's voice rang from the porch, frantic. "Laura, get over here!" His father shouted from the garage, eyes wide as he saw Max charging the enormous bird. Aiden didn't respond. He could only crawl backward to the base of the apple tree, tears filling his eyes. He trembled, watching a scene he never could have imagined. Max, his loyal companion, risking everything to protect him. The eagle shrieked again, preparing for another strike. But Max didn't give it the chance. He clamped onto the eagle's leg just as it tried to take off again, dragging both of them back to the damp earth. The eagle's talon tore a long gash down Max's back, staining his brown fur with crimson. Max let out a pained howl but didn't back down. Instead, he lunged, biting hard into the base of the eagle's wing. "Max, no, don't get hurt!" Aiden cried out, voice breaking in panic. His mother ran toward them, pale and crying. His father rushed over from the garage, wielding a large broom. Without a word, he swung it through the air, striking near the eagle to startle it. The bird flinched and Max seized the moment, leaping and snapping at the eagle's lower wing, growling like thunder. The eagle flapped backward, letting out one last screech before soaring back into the sky. The air around them trembled as though a storm had just passed. It circled once as if burning Max's image into its memory, then vanished into the western clouds, silent. Only Max's ragged breathing remained, his bark, now hoarse and fading. Aiden's sobs broke the stillness. His mother embraced him, checking frantically for injuries. Aiden only shook his head, eyes red-mouthed, trembling. "Max, Max," he whispered. He pushed past her and ran to his dog, now collapsed on the grass, chest heaving. Blood still seeped from the wound on Max's back, but his eyes glimmered not with pain, but with steadfast loyalty. "Max, don't leave me. I'm sorry. You got hurt, 'cause of me." Aiden cried, wrapping his arms around the dog's warm body, head resting on Max's neck, trembling. His parents stood by, eyes glistening. His father knelt beside him, placing a firm hand on Aiden's shoulder. "We need to treat Max now." His mother ran inside, grabbing towels and antiseptic. His father gently lifted Max into his arms, as if cradling a family member. Max whimpered, eyes still fixed on Aiden. His tail gave a faint wag, as if to say, "I'm still here, for you." In his father's arms, Max was gasping for breath, his whole body limp. His thick coat was now speckled with blood, and though his eyes remained open, they were clouded with pain. The once powerful body that had leapt so fiercely just moments ago now felt as heavy as stone, and yet his gaze stayed fixed on Aiden, as if the only thing giving him strength was knowing the boy was safe. "We need to clean the wound immediately. Laura, get the medical kit." The father shouted, his usual calmness gone. He laid Max gently on the porch step, then ran to the garage to grab a small pair of pliers, just in case the eagle's talons had embedded something deep into the dog's skin. Aiden knelt beside Max, gripping his front paw tightly. "Come on, Max. You're my superhero. Don't close your eyes. Look at me, please." Blood seeped from the long gash running down Max's side, soaking the white cloth his mother was desperately pressing to the wound. Her hands trembled, tears streaming down her cheeks, though she was usually strong. Seeing Max, the beloved four-legged friend of the family, whimpering in pain, tore her heart apart. The father carefully began to disinfect and bandage each wound. Every time he touched Max's injuries, the dog whimpered softly, but he never pulled away. He knew they were trying to help. The only time he stirred was when Aiden drifted out of sight. Only when the boy gently laid a hand on his head did Max finally settle. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind swept in, making all three turn toward the western sky. The eagle was back. It hadn't gone far. From a distance, its dark form reappeared, a black streak against the blazing red sky of dusk. It no longer circled. It dove straight down, no hesitation, no probing. It had chosen its target, and it wouldn't stop until it got it. "Back away," the father shouted, stepping protectively in front of his wife and son. Aiden jumped to his feet, tears still wet on his face. "No, Max can't stand yet. It's going for Max." His mother clutched Aiden tightly, pulling him back toward the house, but he broke free. "Don't, I can't leave Max alone." Almost instantly, the eagle swooped down, skimming just above the apple tree. Its wings slashed the air like blades. Talons out, its golden eyes glowed with ruthless focus. Though exhausted, Max forced himself up. He staggered, his hind legs shaking. But then from some deep reservoir of strength, he let out a growl and stood tall. Each step forward was slow, blood dripping onto the porch floor. But his eyes never wavered. The eagle hurtled down. Its speed was unreal. From rooftop to ground took barely 2 seconds. But Max was ready. He let out a thunderous snarl and launched himself forward, not as fast as before, but with everything he had left. In a moment, suspended in time, sky and earth collided once more. Bam! The eagle's wings slammed into Max's face, sending him flying into a flower bed, but he didn't stay down. Even as pain racked his body, Max scrambled up and lunged at the eagle's talons. He clamped down hard, pulling with all his might. The eagle screeched, flapping wildly to escape, but Max wouldn't let go. "Michael, do something!" his mother screamed. The father grabbed the nearest garden rake and rushed forward, swinging it directly at the eagle's tail. Once, twice, the third strike hit hard enough to make the beast reel back. Max seized the moment, lunging upward and biting deep into the eagle's wing joint, the most vulnerable spot of a bird of prey. A piercing cry split the air. The eagle launched upward now, faltering. Blood streamed from its wing like crimson mist. It circled once more this time. A retreat then vanished behind the distant pine trees. Max collapsed. Aiden dashed forward, crawling on his hands and knees. "Max, no, don't leave me. It's my fault. I'm so sorry." The dog lay still. Only faint, labored breaths showed he was still holding on. His eyes remained open, fixed on Aiden. Not with anger, not with fear, but with love and unwavering trust. His mother sank to the ground, embracing both of them. His father knelt beside them, gripping Max's paw and feeling for a pulse. He's still breathing. He's still here. Aiden hugged Max's head to his chest, tears pouring down his face. "You're my hero, my best friend. You're not allowed to leave me." The western sky glowed red like wildfire. The garden fell silent, no bird song, no breeze. As if the whole world were holding its breath for one fragile life. Aiden leaned down, whispering softly into Max's ear. "Stay, so we can finish our story together." "Okay." The dog wagged his tail, just once enough to shatter Aiden's heart in the most beautiful way. After that final wag of his tail, Max collapsed in Aiden's arms. His breathing grew faint, each rise and fall of his chest a battle of its own. Aiden sobbed, screaming through his tears. "Don't sleep! Don't leave me, Max!" His parents rushed to lift Max, carrying him into the house. There was no time to think, no time to speak. His father held Max in his arms and ran to the car. Aiden and his mother jumped in the back seat, the boy whispering nonstop, "Hang in there, Max. You can do it. Don't sleep. Please don't sleep." The car sped down the red dirt road, heading toward the veterinary clinic 10 miles away. Outside, the sky darkened rapidly. The moon had yet to rise, and only the shadows of trees stretched long along the roadside, lit by trembling headlights that pulsed with their racing hearts. At the emergency room, time stood still. The door slammed shut behind Max, his mouth bloodied, his eyes half closed, the monitor echoing cold, steady beeps. The vet, an elderly man named Dr. Harper, examined the deep gash along Max's side and shook his head. "We'll do everything we can, but he's lost a lot of blood." Aiden buried his face into his mother's chest, his heart squeezed by dread. "If Max dies, I don't need any more friends." No one could ever replace Max. For hours they waited on hard gray plastic chairs in the clinic hallway. Aiden clutched Max's old blanket, hands trembling. His father placed a firm hand on his shoulder but said nothing. His mother wiped her tears now and then, praying silently as if on instinct, until finally the door creaked open. Dr. Harper stepped out, his gloves stained with blood. He sighed, then slowly smiled. "He's a real fighter, still weak but stable. He made it through the worst." Aiden shot up wide-eyed, then burst into tears. He ran to hug the vet tightly. Thank you so much." His mother sank into a chair and sobbed. His father turned away, wiping his eyes. Through the cracked door, Aiden could see Max lying on a bed, breathing steadily, his back bandaged, a fluid line attached to his leg. But his eyes looked outward, locking onto Aiden, and his tail gave a gentle wag. No one said a word. In that moment, the entire world condensed into a single look. 3 days later, Max came home. Still weak, he walked slowly across the very lawn where the life-or-death battle had taken place. Aiden supported him, one hand on Max's back, gently guiding him while murmuring their favorite stories. "When you're all better, we'll race again, okay? But this time, let me win for once." Max let out a soft huff, almost like a laugh. That evening, the whole family sat together on the porch. No one mentioned the eagle, no one brought up the cries, the blood, the fear. They just sat together. His mother placed a warm bowl of water beside Max. His father fixed Aiden's collar, patting him on the back. Max lay curled beside them, eyes closed, tail softly swaying. Whenever Aiden reached down to stroke his fur, the night wind carried the scent of jasmine across the porch. Above, the sky shimmered with stars. The universe, once terrifying to a small boy, now felt warm and vast, cradled in the love of his family and the steady heartbeat of Max beside him. Aiden had never felt more at peace. A week later, Aiden picked up his pen and wrote the first line in his journal. "The day Max saved me from death. Max isn't just a bow, Max is my heart." He wrote it all down, every lick of affection, every painful whimper, every desperate tail wag on the edge of life. His tears stained the paper, but his hand never stopped. He wasn't writing to forget, he was writing to remember. Weeks later, the story spread across local social media. The headline read, "Hero Dog Saves Boy from Giant Eagle, a Bond of Unconditional Love." News outlets picked it up. Visitors came to see Max bringing treats, toys, even garlands for his neck. But to Aiden, Max was still just Max. Not a hero for the cameras, but the warm body curled by his feet every night. The shadow beside him every time he walked through the garden. One reporter asked Aiden, "If you had to describe Max in one word, what would it be?" Aiden looked up, didn't hesitate. Family. The story didn't end with applause or cheers. It ended with a quiet afternoon like any other. Aiden and Max playing tag beneath the apple tree, his parents reading on the porch, and sunlight gently spilling over the garden. From that day on, whenever Aiden looked at Max, he didn't just see a dog. He saw a protector, a listener, a friend who would never betray him, a love so pure nothing could replace it. Love doesn't always need words. Sometimes it's etched like a scar on Max's back and in Aiden's heart, a reminder that there are beings who cannot speak, yet love us more deeply than life itself. After everything, that garden, once a battlefield of life and death, became more sacred than ever. Aiden no longer played carelessly as before. Every step he ran, every time he threw Max's favorite red ball, he did so with a mixture of caution and deep gratitude. His eyes, once innocent, now held the depth of memory of growth. Ashi, though still bearing the scar along his back, had returned to being the loyal strong dog he once was. But something had changed. He no longer slept as soundly, his ears constantly tilted toward the distant woods. Each time a strange bird call echoed or the wind rustled too hard, Max would rise and let out a short bark, a quiet reminder that he was still the family's silent sentinel. Aiden's father built a taller fence and replaced the wire mesh around the yard. He no longer believed that eagles were far-off threats. His mother hung wind chimes around the porch each time they rang. She would glance to check on her son and Max. They didn't talk much about what had happened, but no one forgot. No one could. One evening after the sun had set and darkness swallowed the fields behind the house, Aiden sat curled in a corner of the backyard in silence. Max lay beside him, resting his chin on the boy's foot. A soft breeze blew. The crescent moon hung low in the sky. "Max," Aiden sighed, "if you hadn't been there that day, I would have been taken. Mom says I was in shock. Dad says I was brave, but I know the truth. I cried like a baby. The real brave one was you." Max gently nudged Aiden's leg, then closed his eyes. A soft lick like silent agreement. Aiden continued, voice trembling. "When you lay still, I thought you were going to die. I thought I'd lost the only one who truly understood me. I hated that feeling, Max. It was like a massive hole opened inside my chest, one nothing could ever fill." Tears rolled down his cheeks. Max opened his eyes, raised his head, and licked Aiden's hand. "I promised." Aiden whispered, "From now on, I won't just live to play or have fun. I'll live for something like you do, like a protector." The next day, Aiden asked his parents to let him join an animal first aid class. He began learning how to wrap wounds, read canine behavior, and eventually even how to help people. He was no longer the terrified boy beneath the eagle's shadow. He had become someone who could rise after fear, the way Max had taught him with blood and loyalty. The story of Max spread. One school invited Aiden's family to share the tale with students that day in a large auditorium. As Aiden held the mic and described the moment Max leapt into the eagle's talons, the entire room fell silent. A teacher wept. One student stood to hug Max. Then the entire class erupted in applause. "Max isn't just a dog," Aiden said, his eyes shining. "He's a symbol of love, of sacrifice. And he taught me the most important thing. If someone loves you enough to risk their life, then you have to live in a way that honors that love." Max sat quietly at the foot of the stage, gently biting the blue ribbon around his neck, a medal of honor from the local mayor. But he didn't care. His eyes followed only one thing: Aiden, his boy, glowing in the spotlight. That day, a journalist asked, "Why do you think Max risked everything? Was it instinct or love?" Aiden smiled, turning to Max. "Maybe love is a kind of instinct, but not everyone has it." Max does. A month later, as autumn arrived and golden leaves covered the yard, Max and Aiden walked the garden again like they always did. Leaves crunched underfoot. The sun angled through the thinning branches. This time there was no threat. But whenever Aiden bent down to pick up a stick or toss the red ball, Max always glanced skyward, ears alert like a soldier, and Aiden smiled, whispering, "Don't worry, if anything comes, we'll fight it together. This time I won't run." Max gave a low growl like a quiet agreement. Years passed, Aiden grew up and left for college to study veterinary medicine. Yet Max's story remained passed on like legend. In the corner of the old backyard, the family erected a small wooden sign engraved with the words, "Here lies a dog who shed blood to protect the boy he loved." Aiden often returned home sitting under the apple tree, rereading his old journal. Beneath the soil, part of Max's ashes rested in the spot he once snapped every afternoon. Each time the wind rustled the leaves, sending them fluttering down, Aiden swore he could hear Max's footsteps somewhere nearby. He smiled. Love never dies. It simply changes form, from a lick on the cheek to a breeze in the night, from a bark to a quiet heartbeat. But it's always there, like Max. Today's story isn't just about a brave dog and a boy who survived. It's living proof of the pure, loyal, and unconditional love animals give us. Max didn't hesitate to risk his life for Aiden, the boy he loved with all his heart. And Aiden, after that moment of near loss, learned the greatest lesson of his life, that love is action, love is courage, and love means being there when someone needs you most. At Animal Tale Daily, we believe every animal has a story worth telling. Whether it's a stray dog, a shelter cat, or a little bird on your windowsill, their love can truly change our lives. If you were moved by Max and Aiden's story, please like, subscribe, and share this video with fellow animal lovers. And if you have a heartwarming story with your pet, leave it in the comments below. Your story might be the next one we share. See you in our next emotional tale.